ሰላም ለእናንተ ይሁን። ዛሬ በአዲስ ቪዲዮ ተመልሻለሁ። የዛሬው ቪዲዮ ትንሽ ለየት ይላል። እንደባለፈው ወርክሽት ላይ ምናምን የተመረኮዘ አይደለም። ከሞጁላችሁ ወይም ደግሞ ከቤዚክ ማትማቲክ ፎር ሶሻል ሳይንስ ቻፕተር 2 ኤክሰርሳይዝ 2 ማለትም ማስተማሪያ ሞጁሉ ላይ ገጽ 69 እና 70 የሚገኙ ጥያቄዎችን ነው ለመስራት የምሞክረው። ስለዚህ በቀጥታ ወደ ጥያቄዎቹ ነው ደግሞ ጥያቄዎቹን ወደ መስራቱ ከመሄዳችን በፊት ሁልጊዜ እንደምላችሁ ምናልባት ለዚህ ቻናል አዲስ የሆናችሁ ሰዎች ካላችሁ ቻናሉን ሰብስክራይብ እና ቪዲዮውንም ደግሞ ላይክ በማድረግ ጀምሩ፣ ደስ ይለኛል። ምክንያቱም ይህን ካደረጋችሁ ቻናሉ ወይም ደግሞ እዚህ ላይ ፖስት የሚደረጉት ቪዲዮዎች ለሁሉም ወይም ደግሞ ለብዙ ሰዎች ተደራሽ ይሆናሉ። ስለዚህ እሱን ታደርጉ አበረታታለሁ። ይህን ካልኩ በኋላ በቀጥታ ወደ ጥያቄዎቹ በምንሄድበት ጊዜ the first question is this one, that is, consider the function f is equal to the set containing x square when x is an element of s and s is with this element is into z. That is, the function is from s into z. Then after we are given this information, what we are asked here is we are asked just to justify whether this function which is defined from s into z is one-to-one and onto. ስለዚህ የዚህን ፋንክሽን ዋን ቱ ዋን መሆን ወይም ደግሞ ኦንቱ መሆኑን ለማረጋገጥ ወይም ደግሞ ቼክ ለማድረግ መጀመሪያ ማወቅ ያለብን ምንድን ነው፣ ዋን ቱ ዋን ፋንክሽን ምን ማሟላት አለበት፣ ኦንቱ ፋንክሽን ምን ይመስላል የሚለውን ሁለቱን ለይተን ማወቅ አለብን ማለት ነው። So let us see the definition. A function f which is defined from n to be said to be one-to-one if for every a1 and a2 which is an element of the first set, that's simply set a, which is the domain of the given function. That means f of a1 is equal to f of 2 implies a1 is equal to a2. ይሄ ማለት ይሄ ሎጂካል ኢምፕሊኬሽን ሁሉ ጊዜ እውነት ከሆነ ለማንኛውም a1 እና a2 እዚህ ውስጥ በዚህ ጊዜ በዚህ በተሰጠን ፋንክሽን መሰረት s ውስጥ ለሚገኙ ኤኒቱ ኤሌመንት a1 እና a2 ይሄ ሁሉ ጊዜ እውነት ከሆነ then the function is said to be one-to-one function. But if there are any two different elements a1 and that of a2 of this function that is s, but f of a1 and f of a2 are the same, ነገር ግን ኢሜጃቸው ተመሳሳይ ከሆነ a1 እና a2 የተለያዩ ሆነው ስለዚህ ይሄ ዋን ቱ ዋን ፈንክሽን አያስብለውም ወይም ደግሞ ዋን ቱ ዋን አይደለም ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ በዚህ መልክ ይሄንን ሜጀር በምናደርግበት ጊዜ እንደገና ደግሞ ኦንቱ ሊሆን የሚችለው የፋንክሽን ደግሞ ምንድን ነው? ፋንክሽን that is f from which is defined from a into this one that is b said to be onto or surjective f for every b which is an element of the codomain of this function, that's simply b, which is there exists at least one a which is an element of this one, the first set, that set a, such that f of a is equal to b, then the given function is said to be surjective or onto function. ስለዚህ ይህንን ፋንክሽን እነዚህ ሁለቱን ከሁለቱ የትኛውንም ደግሞ ሁለቱንም ያሟላል ወይስ ሳይሟላ የሚለውን ቼክ እናደርጋለን ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ይህን በምናደርግበት ጊዜ ለምሳሌ መጀመሪያው we are given this one, that's simply the function f is equal to the set containing this one when x is an element of s. This could be that is x is the input and this one that is x squared is the output, so that this function can be equivalently written as f of x is equal to x squared for x an element of s, which is quadratic function. That means ስለዚህ quadratic function ስለሆነ የዚህ quadratic ማንኛውም quadratic function of this form ደግሞ ሁሉ ጊዜ ኢሜጁ ነን ኔጌቲቭ ሪል ነምበር or simply ነን ኔጌቲቭ ነው። ስለዚህ ለምሳሌ f of minus 3 is 9, f of minus 2 is 4, f of minus 1, f of 0, f of 1 is 1, f of 2. ስለዚህ እዚህ ጋር በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ ለምሳሌ if you see the extremes እዚህ f of minus 3 እና f of 3 they do have the same image, ተመሳሳይ ኢሜጅ ነው ያላቸው 9፣ ነገር ግን minus 3 እና positive 3 are different. ስለዚህ due to the existence of only these two components with the same image for different values of minus 3 and that of positive 3 which is an element of s, ስለዚህ ይሄ ፋንክሽን ዋን ቱ ዋን ፋንክሽን አይደለም ማለት ነው። እሱ ብቻ አይደለም f of minus 2 እና f of 2 እኩል ናቸው፣ f of minus 1 እና f of positive 1 እኩል ናቸው። ስለዚህ this is not one to one function. ሌላ one to one function መሆኑን ልናረጋግጥ የምንችልበት ምንድን ነው? ሌላው ከዚህ ከዴፊኒሽኑ በተጨማሪ the function that is f is said to be one to one function if the given function is a strictly increasing function. Increasing function ከሆነ every strictly increasing function is one-to-one function. But this is not an increasing function generally, so that the function cannot satisfy the condition to be one-to-one function. ስለዚህ ይሄ ዋን ቱ ዋን አይደለም ማለት ነው። ሌላው ኦንቱ ለመባል ምክንያቱም ፋንክሽኑ ዲፋይን የተደረገው ምንድን ነው? ፍሮም ኤስ ኢንቱ ዜድ ነው። ዳት ኢዝ ሴት ኦፍ ኢንቲጀርስ። ስለዚህ ሴት ኦፍ ኢንቲጀርስ ላይ ምን አለ? ፖዚቲቭ ኢንቲጀር አለ፣ ዜሮ አለ፣ ኔጌቲቭ ኢንቲጀሮች አሉ። ምክንያቱም ኤፍ ኦፍ ኤክስ ኢኳል ቱ ኤክስ ስኩዌር ስለሆነ ይሄ ሁል ጊዜ ኔጌቲቭ ከሆነ ሶ ዳት ዴር አር መኒ ኔጌቲቭ ኢንቲጀርስ ዊዝን ዴት which doesn't have any pre-image under this one, that's simply under S. ስለዚህ ለምሳሌ ማይነስ ዋን ብንወስድ ማይነስ ዋን is an element of Z, which is the codomain of this function። ነገር ግን ማይነስ ዋንን ከማይነስ ዋን ጋር ማፕ የሚያደርግ ወይም ደግሞ ኢሜጁ ማይነስ ዋን የሆነ ኤስ ውስጥ የሚገኝ አንድም ኤለመንት ማግኘት አንችልም። ስለዚህ ይህ ፋንክሽን ዋን ቱ ዋን ብቻ ለመሆን ሳይሆን ኦንቱም አይደለም ማለት ነው። it is not onto because there is no a pre-image for all negative integers, so that the function is not an onto function. Therefore, the given function is neither onto nor one-to-one function. Okay, question number 2. Let A is equal to the set containing 1, 2, and 3, and we are asked just to list all one-to-one functions from A into A. From the set into itself. ስለዚህ one-to-one function ማለት if it is defined on a finite set onto itself, it is a permutation. That means we have that is the number of possible one-to-one function that can be constructed based on this set. That since A has 3 elements, then there are 3 factorial or 6 such one-to-one functions. So the first function could be this one, that is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, which is an identity function. Second possible one-to-one function based on this one could be 1, 1, 2, 3, and 3, 2. The third could be 1, 2, 2, 1, and 3, 3. The fourth one is this one, that is 1, 2, the set containing 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1. The fourth, the fifth, and the sixth one is this one. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ስድስቱንም በምናያቸው ጊዜ ኤሌመንቶቹ ፈርስት ኮምፖነንቱም ኢንትሪውም አውትፑቱም ከዚህ ከኤ የተወሰደ ነው። That is from the set, every set or simply function, all the 6 functions are defined from A onto itself, that is simply A. ስለዚህ ሁሉም ደግሞ እነዚህን በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ they are one-to-one functions። ስለዚህ ሌላ ከነዚህ ከስድስቱ ውጭ እዚህ ፋንክሽን ላይ ዲፋይን የሚደረግ one-to-one function አይኖረንም ማለት so that all the possible one-to-one functions that can be constructed from A onto itself, that is A with these 3 elements could be only these 6. Question number 3. Let f is a function defined from A into B, and let f star be the inverse relation that is f star is equal to the set containing yx, which is an element of B cross A, when such that f of x is equal to y. ስለዚህ f of x is equal to y ከሆነ f is defined from A into B, so that if f is from A into that of B, so that f must be the subset of A cross B. ስለዚህ f of x is equal to y ከሆነ the set containing the order pair that is xy must be an element of f. ስለዚህ ቦታቸውን ብናቀያይራቸው yx must be an element of B cross A, which is the inverse of this function. Then what we are asking here is, after we are given this information, ምንድን ነው የተጠየቅነው? አንደኛ ይሄ function f star we are asked by showing or simply considering an example, we are asked just to show that f star need not be a function. የዚህ ኢንቨርሱ በኤግዛምፕል ኤፍ ስታር ፋንክሽን ላይሆን እንደሚችል ወይም ደግሞ መሆኑ የግድ አለመሆኑን በኤግዛምፕል ጀስቲፋይ ማድረግ። ሁለተኛው we are also asked just to show that f star is a function from range of f into A if and only if f is one-to-one correspondence or simply one-to-one. And C, we were asked to show f star is a function from B into A if and only if f is one-to-one and onto, that is one-to-one correspondence, which is both. And lastly, we are asked just to show f star is a function from b into a, then f inverse and f star must be identical. ስለዚህ በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ ለምሳሌ መጀመሪያውን ለማሳየት let for example using that an example let f is defined from the set containing 1 and 2 into this singleton that simply set containing only a with the functional mapping f of 1 is equal to a and f of 2 is equal to a. ስለዚህ ዶሜኑ በቀጥታ ዋንቱ ነው the image is 1. ነገር ግን ይሄን ኢንቨርሱን በምንወስድበት ጊዜ ወይም ደግሞ f star could be that means here 1a is an element of f, so that a1 must be an element of f star. Here 2a is an element of this function, so that when we interchange a and 2, a2 must be an element of f star. ስለዚህ እነዚህን ኤሌመንቶች የያዘው ይሄን ሪሌሽን በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ f star function አይደለም, because one of the first element, the element of the domain of this function is mapped with more than that of one image, that's simply 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 are different, so that this is not a function. Therefore, this is a counterexample for justification of the given question. So f star is not a function. B, if f star is a function from range of f into a, then each element of the range has a unique preimage. ስለዚህ f star ራሱ it is a function from range of f into a, then each ይሄ ፋንክሽን ከሆነ ማለት ነው። ይሄ ፋንክሽን ከሆነ ፋንክሽን ሊሆን የሚችለው if each element of the range has a unique preimage ካለው፣ ለምሳሌ ይሄ ዩኒክ ፕሪኢሜጅ የለውም ወይም ደግሞ አንድ ያለው ይሄ ያለው፣ ስለዚህ ማለት በዚህ መጀመሪያው ላይ ፕሪኢሜጅ ዩኒክ ፕሪኢሜጅ የለውም። የኤ ፕሪኢሜጅ ሁለትም ነው፣ የአንድ አሚን የኤ አንድም ነው። ስለዚህ ኤ ዩኒክ የሆነ ፕሪኢሜጅ የለውም፣ ስለሌለውም ነው ኤፍ ስታር ፋንክሽን ያልሆነው ኢንቨርሱ ማለት ነው። ነገር ግን ይሄ ዩኒክ ኢሜጅ ካለው so that the function that is f star will satisfy the condition to be a function. Next one, and that means hence f is a one-to-one function. Conversely, if f is a one-to-one, then each y, which is an element of range of f comes from exactly 1x, which is an element of a, so that f star will becomes a function. The next one, that's simply see, for f star to be a function from b into a, every y must be an element of this one. Then for every y, an element of b must occur as an image of f, so that so f is an odd function. Together with this one, that is one-to-oneness and existence of that of unique preimage for each element of the given function, that simply that this function, so that f is one-to-one and on function. So that means it must be one-to-one correspondence. And lastly, if a function f is from b, function if f star is a function from b into a, then it assigns to each y an element of b the unique x an element of a, such that f of x is equal to y. This is exactly the inverse function, so f inverse and f star will becomes identical or simply the same. ስለዚህ one-to-one ወይም ደግሞ one-to-one correspondence ወይም increasing function መሆኑን ካረጋገጠን ይሄ f star and the inverse of the given function will be identical or simply the same. That means f star will be considered as the inverse of the given function. Okay, question number 4. Let a is equal to the set containing x an element of R when x is in between 0 and that of 1, including 0 and 1, and b the set containing all x an element of R such that 5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 8, that is the set of real number in between 5 and 8, including 5 and 8. And we're asked just to show that the function that is f, which is defined from a into b, defined by f of x equal to 5 plus 8 minus 5x is a one-to-one function from a into b. ስለዚህ አሁንም ይሄ ስለ one-to-one ነው የሚያወራው ማለት ነው። ይሄ ፋንክሽን one-to-one መሆኑን ወይም ደግሞ አለመሆኑን ቼክ ለማድረግ ምንድነው የምናደርገው? ለone-to-one ፋንክሽን ዴፊኒሽኑን ያሟላል ወይስ አያሟላም? ወይም ደግሞ ይሄ ፋንክሽን one-to-one ሊሆን የሚችልበት ሌላው ኬዝ ምንድነው? ቅድም እንዳልኳችሁ ፋንክሽኑ ስትሪክትሊ ኢንክሪዚንግ ፋንክሽን ከሆነ one-to-one ፋንክሽን ነው። but if it is not increasing function, the function may not be considered as a one-to-one function. ስለዚህ በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ ለምሳሌ ይሄ መጀመሪያ የተሰጠን ጥያቄ f of x ይሄ ማለት further it can be simplified as this one that is f of x plus f of x equal to 5 plus 3x. That means 5 plus 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 times x is so this one that's simply 3x. ስለዚህ ይሄ linear polynomial function ነው with positive slope that is simply 3, so that this function is an increasing function which is strictly increasing. That means there are no any two real numbers within the given domain which can have the same image, so that when x increases the function of value that will also increases. ስለዚህ strictly increasing በመሆኑ ይሄ function one to one መሆኑ ምንም ጥርጥር የለውም። but for x an element of a 0 to 1 including 0 and 1 we have the f of 0 is 5 and f of 1 is 8, since it is an increasing, so that since the slope is positive f is strictly increasing, so that the given function that is f of x equal to 5 plus 3x, which is defined over from a to b, is one-to-one function. ኦኬ በዚህ መልኩም ጀስቲፋይ ማድረግ እንችላለን። ጀስት ፋንክሽኑ ኦንቱ መሆኑን ማሳየት እንችላለን። ኦንቱ ለመሆኑ ምንድነው የምናደርገው እዚህ ውስጥ ምክንያቱም ፋንክሽኑ ፍሮም ኤ ኢንቱ ዳት ኦፍ ቢ ነው ዲፋይንድ የተደረገ እዚህ ውስጥ ያሉት ኤሌመንቶች በሙሉ ቢያንስ አንድ ኤሌመንት እዚህ ኤ ውስጥ ፕሪ ኢሜጅ ያለው መሆኑን ቼክ ማድረግ ነው። ስለዚህ እሱን ለማድረግ ምንድነው ለኤክስ ሶልቭ በምናደርግበት ጊዜ ይሄ ሊኒየር ፖሊኖሚያል ፋንክሽን ኤክስ ዊል ቢካምስ ዋይ ማይነስ 5 over 3 when y is selected from this one or simply from this set, and x is this one or simply from 0 to that of 1. So let's see, this is already defined. For every element which is selected from this one, we can find a single x which is a pre-image for within the element of this one, that is a, so that this function is an onto function. It is an onto function. Question number 5. It says which of the following functions are onto one-to-one again. So the functions are this one. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ፋንክሽኖች one-to-one ለመሆናቸውን አሁንም ቅድም ያለውን ዴፊኒሽን አፕላይ ማድረግ እንችላለን፣ ወይም ደግሞ ፋንክሽኑ ስትሪክትሊ ኢንክሪዚንግ ፋንክሽን መሆኑን ቼክ ማድረግ አለብን። ስለዚህ ከነዚህ ከሁለቱ በሚመቸን ባንዱ one-to-one-ነስን ጀስቲፋይ ማድረግ ይቻላል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ለምሳሌ እዚህ ጋር በመጀመሪያው ብንመለከት the function is defined from r to r and it is given by f of x equal to 4 which is a constant function. That means every real number, the domain is set of real number, and the range is only the set containing this one, that's simply 4, so that every real number is mapped to this one, that's simply 4, so that this function is not an increasing function or it is not one-to-one function. Here one-to-one አይደለም. Whatever the value of x here, all the output is the same, that's simply always 4, so that this function is not one-to-one function. It is not one-to-one because every input has the same output. Every number, the output of every number, that's simply 4. Similarly, ሁለተኛውን እዚህ ጋር በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ f is defined from r to r given by f of x equal to 6x minus 1 when x is an element of r. ስለዚህ ይሄ ፋንክሽኑ ራሱ ምንድነው? It is linear polynomial function with degree 1, so that is a strictly increasing function. Therefore, without any additional justification, ይሄ function one-to-one function ነው ማለት ነው። It is one-to-one since 6x minus 1 is linear function with non-zero slope, so that is one-to-one function. ሶስተኛውን እዚህ ጋር f of x equal to x square plus 7 whenever x is an element of r. ይህም ስንመለከት ደግሞ it is quadratic function or simple function. ስለዚህ ሁለት የተለያዩ ለምሳሌ ፖስቶችን በምንወስድበት ጊዜ ወይም ደግሞ ይሄ ፋንክሽን ምን አይደለም it is not a strictly increasing function. It increases for some interval and starts to decrease, so that there are two real numbers which can have the same image. ለምሳሌ -1 ብንተካ ለx እዚህ ጋር f of -1 is 8, f of positive 1 is 8, so that ነገር ግን 1 እና negative 1 የተለያዩ ናቸው። ስለዚህ ይሄ ፋንክሽን one-to-one አይደለም ማለት doesn't satisfy the condition to be one-to-one. it is not one to one since f of 1 is equal to f of minus 2 which is equal to 8 ሌሎችንም መውሰድ እንችላለን በርካታ የሚቀጥለው እዚህ ጋር አራተኛውም ደግሞ ዲ the function defined from R to R and it is given by f of x equal to x cubed when x is an element of R. This is cubic polynomial function which is an odd function, and from the property of odd function, that's simply this cubic function, it is a strictly increasing function, or this function there are no any two different elements or simply real numbers that can be or simply that can have the same image, so that this function is increasing, therefore the function is one-to-one function. It is one-to-one because x cubed is increasing or strictly increasing on the set of real number. And lastly, that is simply this one, that is e. The function that is f is defined from R without 7 into R, defined given by f of x equal to x plus 1 over x minus 7 when x is an element of this one, set of real number without 7. ይህ ምን አይደለም አሁን ለምሳሌ እዚህ ጋር since it is a rational function it needs a certain justification ይሄን አሁን increasing ነው ወይም ደግሞ decreasing ነው ወይም ደግሞ አይደለም ማለት አንችልም. So the only possibility for checking the one-to-oneness of this function could be only applying the definition. By definition ምንድን ነው የሚለን? We have if for any two x1 and dot of x2 within this domain, f of x1 is 2x1 plus 1 over x1 minus 7 is equal to 2x2 plus 1 over x2 plus 7. That is f of x1 is equal to f of x2. Then if we further simplify this expression using that of crisscross and certain mathematical manipulations, this could be simplified too, or simply the simplified form of this expression will give us, or simply will arrive x is equal to x1. ስለዚህ እነዚህ ፋንክሽናል ቫልዩዎች እኩል ከሆኑ x1 እና x2 ወይም ደግሞ ፕሪሜጃቸው እኩል ይሆናል. So that this will be a condition for the given function to be one-to-one. So that is one-to-one function. Next question number 6. Which of the following functions are onto? ደግሞ onto function ማለት ነው ልክ መጀመሪያው ጥያቄ አንደኛው ጥያቄ ላይ ዲፋይን እንዳደረግነው if the function is defined from A into that of B, and for each and every element of this one, that's simply B, which is an element of B, if we can find one preimage that's simply x with an A, then that type of function is said to be onto function. ወይም ደግሞ onto function ማለት ነው የፋንክሽኑ ሬንጅ እና ኮዶሜኑ እኩል የሆኑበት ማለት ነው። የፋንክሽኑ ሬንጅ እና ኮዶሜኑ ወይም ደግሞ ሬንጁ ኤግዛክትሊ ከኮዶሜኑ ጋር እኩል ከሆነ then that type of function is said to be an onto function. Therefore, when we see this list of functions and check their ontoness, የመጀመሪያው ለምሳሌ በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ the function defined from R to R and it is given by 115x plus 49 when x is an element of R, so that in order to check whether this function is onto or not, let's try to solve for x. ስለዚህ ለx በምንመለከት ወይም ደግሞ በምንወስድበት ጊዜ y minus 49 over 15 ይሆናል። ስለዚህ this is defined for every y or simply for every real number that's simply y. ስለዚህ እዚህ ውስጥ ላሉት ለሁሉም ኮምፖነንቶች from this expression we can find 1x from the set of real number that's simply from the domain of the given function, which is the preimage, so that this function is an onto function. B, a function that's f of x equal to absolute value of x, it's not onto function because the absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 0 for every x, or simply for every real number x, so that negative numbers are not reached or simply doesn't have a preimage. ለምሳሌ እዚህ ጋር ማይነስ ዋንን በምንወስድበት ጊዜ ምክንያቱም ፋንክሽኑ ፍሮም አር ቱ አር ነው ዲፋይንድ የተደረገ፣ ስለዚህ ኔጌቲቭ ሪል ነምበሮች ፕሪሜጅ የላቸውም within this expression or simply within this function። ያ ማለት ኤክስ ኔጌቲቭም ፖዚቲቭም ይሁን ሁል ጊዜ አውትፑቱ ነን ኔጌቲቭ ኢንቲጀር ወይም ነን ኔጌቲቭ ሪል ነምበር ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄ ፋንክሽን ኦንቱ ፋንክሽን አይደለም ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛው ሶሪ ቀጣይ ሶስት ሲም በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ ሲም እንደዚሁ ከዚህ ጋር ተመሳሳይ ነው። it is not onto function ምክንያቱም the square root of x square is further simplified to the absolute value of x which is greater than or equal to 0 or simply which is always non-negative. ስለዚህ አሁንም እዚህ ጋር ነን ኔጌቲቮቹ ይቀራሉ ወይም ደግሞ all non-negative real numbers doesn't have any preimage, so that the function is not an onto function. and the last one, that's D. ዲም ቢሆን ምንድን ነው? it is not on to function because this one that is x squared plus 4 is always greater than or equal to that of 4 ሬንጁ ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ የዚህ ፋንክሽን ሬንጅ ከኮዶሜኑ ከአር ጋር እኩል አይደለም። ኮዶሜኑ አር ነው because the function defined from r to r። የዚህ ሬንጅ ደግሞ the set containing set of real number greater than or equal to 4 ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄ የዚህ ፋንክሽን የተሰጠን ፋንክሽን ኤግዛክት ሬንጅ እና ይሄ ኮዶሜን ሁለቱ እኩል አይደሉም። ስለዚህ ፋንክሽን የተሰጠን ፋንክሽን ኦንቱ ፋንክሽን አይደለም ማለት ነው። ሶ ዛት ኢዝ ኖት ኦንቱ። Okay, next. Next question, probably the last question that I think it is on finding the formula for the inverse of the given function. The list of functions are this one about 8 functions. ስለዚህ ኢንቨርስን በምንፈልግበት ጊዜ የራሱ የሆነ ፕሮሲጀር አለው ዲፔንዲንግ ኦን አወር አፕሮች። ለምሳሌ መጀመሪያ ቫሪያብሉን ኤክስቼንጅ ማድረግ፣ ከዛ ለአዲስ ዋይ ሶልቭ ማድረግ፣ ከዛ ኤፍ ኢንቨርስ ኦፍ ኤክስ ብሎ ፎርማሊ ኢንቨርሱን መግለጽ ወይም ደግሞ መጻፍ ሊሆን ይችላል። የመጀመሪያው ስራችን እዚህ ጋር የሚሆነው ምንድን ነው? አንድ ፋንክሽን ኢንቨርስ የሚኖረው መቼ ነው ሲባል when the function will have an inverse function only when the function itself is one-to-one function ካልሆነ one-to-one ካልሆነ the inverse ፎርሙላው ልናገኝ እንችላለን። ነገር ግን ብናገኘውም ግን የፋንክሽን ፕሮፐርቲ አይሟላም፣ ደግሞ ፋንክሽን አይሆንም ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ በዚህ መሰረት የመጀመሪያውን በምንመለከትበት ጊዜ ለምሳሌ መጀመሪያው ስራችን ምንድን ነው? let the image of this one that is x under f be this one that is y። ስለዚህ f of x equal to 7x minus 6 y is equal to 7x minus 6 ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ከዛ አሁን እዚህ ጋር መጀመሪያ ቫሪያብሉን ኤክስቼንጅ ማድረግ ይቻላል፣ ወይም ደግሞ ሶልቭ ካደረግን በኋላ ኤክስቼንጅ ማድረግም ይቻላል። without exchanging let us try to solve for x። ስለዚህ y is equal to 7x minus 6 ከሆነ x y plus 6 over 7 ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ f inverse of x could be simply written as x plus 6 over f inverse of x equal to x plus 6 over this one that is 7, so that this is fully the inverse of this function that is f of x equal to 7x minus 6. Similarly, the second one that simply we have f of x equal to 2x minus 9 over 4. So let for example f of x equal to y. ስለዚህ y is equal to x minus 9 over 4 ይሆናል። ይህንን ለx በምንሶልቭ በምናደርግበት ጊዜ እንደዚህ ክሪስ ክሮስ ስንጠቀም we have this one that simply 4y is equal to 2x minus 9. Then from this x could be xን ሶልቭ ለማድረግ ይህን ወደዚህ በምንወስድበት ጊዜ 4y plus 9 ይሆናል። ለሁለት ስናካፍል x is 4y plus 9 over 2. Therefore f inverse of x could be 4x plus 9 over 2. The next one that is c. let y is equal to 1 minus 3 over x። አሁንም እዚህ ጋር ምንድነው የምናደርገው? መጀመሪያ ለx ሶልቭ ማድረግ። ስለዚህ ለx ሶልቭ በምናደርግበት ጊዜ ይሄንን ወደዚህ በምንወስድበት ጊዜ 3 over x is equal to 1 minus y። ይሄ ማለት x is equal to 3 over 1 minus y ነው። therefore the inverse of this function could be f inverse of x is equal to 3 over 1 minus x. Next one D, we have f of x equal to 4 minus x over 3x ነበር ይሰጠን። ስለዚህ f of x and y በምንልበት ጊዜ y is equal to 4 minus x over 3x ከዛ ለx ሶልቭ እናደርጋለን። so that ክሪስ ክሮስ በምንጠቀምበት ጊዜ 3x y is equal to 4 minus x ከዛችን ወደዚህ ወስደን የጋራ ስናወጣ we have x into 3y plus 1 is equal to 4. then x could be 4 over 3y plus 1. 4 over 3y plus 1 ከዛ በኋላ እዚህ ጋር ነው ቫሪያብል ቼንጅ የምናደርገው። ስለዚህ f inverse of x could be 4 over 3x plus 1. Next question number E. We have y is equal to 5x plus 3 over 1 minus x. Then we have in order to ለx ሶልቭ በምናደርግበት ጊዜ y into 1 minus 2x that is y times 1 minus 2x is equal to y into 1 minus 2x is equal to 5x plus 3. ስለዚህ ይሄን ለኤክስ ሶልቭ ስናደርግ ይሄን ዲስትሪቢዩት ስናደርግ we have y minus 2xy is equal to 5x plus 3. Then let us bring this term to the left side so that we have this one that is x into minus y minus y that is factoring out x at the common factor. We have 3 minus y ይሄን ወደ ስንወስድ minus y ይሆናል። ከዛ በኋላ በቦth sides ለማይነስ ዋይ ማይነስ ዋይ በምናካፍልበት ጊዜ ኤክስ ኩድ ቢ ዋይ ማይነስ 3 ኦቨር 2y ፕላስ 3 ይሄ ኔጌቲቭ ነው። ይሄ 3 ማይነስ ዋይ ነበረ። y minus 3 በሚሆንበት ጊዜ it could be the negative of y minus 3 and if we factor out the negative at the common factor negative over negative will becomes positive so that x could be y minus 3y therefore f inverse of x could be x minus 3 over 2x plus 5. F, we have y is equal to the cube root of x plus 1 and if I let f of x to be y here, ስለዚህ y is equal to cube root of x plus 1 ይሆናል። ስለዚህ አሁን የምናደርገው ምንድነው ለኤክስ ሶልቭ ማድረግ ነው። ስለዚህ ለኤክስ ሶልቭ ለማድረግ both sides cube በምናደርግበት ጊዜ we have y cubed is equal to x plus 1. ስለዚህ ከዚህ ይችን ወደዚህ በምንወስድበት ጊዜ x could be y cubed minus 1. ስለዚህ x is equal to y cubed minus 1 ከሆነ ቫሪያብሉን ኤክስቼንጅ አድርገን ፎርማሊ f inverse of x በምንጽፍበት ጊዜ the inverse of this function could be f inverse of x is equal to x cubed minus 1. x cubed minus 1. next እዚህ ጋር ሁለተኛው ወይም ደግሞ question number G we have f of x equal to minus of x plus 2 square minus 1 minus 1 ስለዚህ ይሄ ፋንክሽን ግን ምን አይደለም one to one function አይደለም since this function is not one to one function from a set of real number so the inverse of the given function may not satisfy the condition to be a function ስለዚህ ኤግዚስት አያደርግም ማለት ነው so the inverse that does exist unless ዶሜኑን ሪስትሪክት በማድረግ ግን ዶሜኑን ሪስትሪክት በማድረግ we can make or simply we can make the given function to be or simply the inverse of this function to be a function ማድረግ እንችላለን ስለዚህ ኢንቨርሱ ፋንክሽን ስለማያሟላ ፎርሙላውም አያስፈልገንም ማለት ነው የመጨረሻው h we have y is equal to x over 1 plus x ስለዚህ ይሄ ማለት ነው ለx ሶልቭ ስናደርጋውንም እዚህ ጋር we have y into 1 minus x equal to 2x that's just crisscross multiplication then we have y is equal to x into 2 minus y then x equal to y over 2 minus y therefore f inverse of x could be x over 2 minus x x over 2 minus x okay I think generally the inverse of the given function or simply the listed function under question number 7 could be looks like this there is a b c d all the 7 questions there okay that's all thank you very much